Hey, Grace community. I am so pumped to be doing goals with you this year. And I'm even more excited that we're going to focus on goals with intention that really fulfill and satisfy rather than frustrate. So I want you to dive into this series with a fresh set of eyes and a new way of thinking. And I want to challenge you. You're going to get a series of 4 videos. There's going to be 4 different activities that we're going to do that's going to help us get to the place of not only defining our goals, but also having an action plan behind it. You may be tempted to work ahead, but I'm really going to encourage you to stay the course, go step by step, spend some time really thinking about what it is that you want out of life as opposed to rushing through this. You've got a workbook that's going to help you as well. And just know that we're going to break this down into bite-sized pieces so that you can really figure out how to make 2019 a year that is full of no regrets, but is ridiculously fulfilling and satisfying. All right. So I don't know about you, but goals have always been an interesting thing for me. And coming out of corporate, especially the corporate environment, was very much known for dangling the carrot in front of you. You know, you would accomplish one thing and then there would be a new carrot. So there was never a sense of accomplishment because you were just moving, actually racing from one thing to the next. So I want to ask you a question. When it comes to goals, when it comes to your life, do you feel like the finish line keeps moving on you? Like you thought the goal was something, and then you reach that goal and you realize that you're not really satisfied. You know, like you get it, and there may be a small piece of excitement, and then literally you're antsy to get into the next goal. This is because most people don't choose goals that bring true meaning or fulfillment to their life. They're choosing goals based on maybe a destination or a thing. So let's get into this a little bit. So, where most people are struggling or falling short is that they're choosing goals based on an actual destination. For example, maybe 6 figures, or maybe it's the car, or maybe it's a certain house, or maybe it's a certain title or a promotion, something like that, rather than the actual journey. So, if we break down mine, I needed 6 figures, or I wanted to replace my income so that I could be home with my daughter. Now, if I focused just on the money, which I did in the beginning, you guys, that would be the destination. The journey piece of it was really more about I wanted to be an active and present mom. I had a certain vision of the type of mom that I wanted to be. So both of those goals have some similar elements to them in terms of what's required, but the focus is different. So the question that I want you to start really thinking about today isn't a destination, but it's the kind of life that you want to have. What are the types of things that are important to you? And when you think about your life, what kind of life do you want to have? All right. So let's dig into the 2 different types of goals. There's really 2 types of goals, and we're going to break down each one of them that's going to help you realize. And once you start digging into these, the cool part about these 2 different types of goals is there isn't a right or a wrong. What we're looking for is what's right for you, because when you find the goals that are right for you, there is going to be a certain fulfillment in it. Okay, so the 2 types of goals that we're going to talk about today are called outer goals and core goals. So let's dig into outer goals. Outer goals are goals that we think will make us appear successful to the outside world. So a 6-figure income. Nowadays, it needs to be a multiple 6-figure income, right? Or maybe it's a certain car, or living in a certain neighborhood, or having a certain title, or working at a certain company. Coming out of corporate, there were certain companies that had more status or clout than other ones, or maybe it was working for a certain boss. Inherently, these goals are unfulfilling because they're based on other people, not you. And what happens with the other people is that the finish line keeps changing, right? So, what one group may view as super successful, 6 figures, another group may view as piddly, right? 6 figures, you need multiple 6 figures. And so, as you start growing and changing, these goals are super unfulfilling because they're based on what other people think. Having some of these goals is totally normal and it's actually really important. But if you have all outer goals, if all you're focused on is outer goals, you actually lack vision for your life and don't really understand the importance of your personal gifts, your true impact, and the value that you bring to the table. I want you to really listen to that. So having some outer goals is totally normal, completely, totally normal. And we're going to dig into that quite a bit. But if all of your goals are outer goals, you're actually holding yourself back and you lack true vision for what your life really can be. Isn't that big? That's big, you guys. All right, so core goals. What are core goals? Core goals are goals that actually fulfill you rather than just bring outside success. They're goals that make your soul come to life. You live in alignment with your true purpose when you're focusing on core goals because you really understand who you are, what you're put here to do, and you're going for it. Core goals also bring us into something that's called flow state. And we're going to talk about what flow state is. But it's a goal that you are constantly achieving versus a goal with a single tangible outcome. So let's look back at the example that I gave. If my goal was strictly 6 figures, once I hit that goal, you get to a place where you're like, now what do I do? Because I hit that goal and I'm content or maybe complacent. Do I just stop working? But if the goal is focused on the actual journey with my kids, being able to work from home and be a very present mom without the financial stress of not working, I'm constantly achieving that goal year over year over year, and I'm not getting complacent. Do you see the difference in that? So it's focused more on purpose. Part of my purpose here is being a mom to Charlotte. It's one of my purposes. And if I focus on that rather than the money that's going to help me do that, even though the money is a big piece of it, and I'll show you how that piece of it is included in it, you're going to have a much different approach to looking at 2019. All right, so let's dig into a little bit of what flow state is because I think this is super important. So flow state is this really cool thing. Like, do you want to get to a place where you actually can toss self-doubt to the side, feel creative, feel like you're in your sweet spot, feel like you're in the right place, and enjoy it while you're doing it? I want to ask you this. Do you ever have those moments, those experiences when time passes super, super fast? You're completely caught up in whatever it is that you're doing, and there's just this really cool sense of what's going on in your life. Have you ever had those moments? Maybe those moments were happening when you were a kid. Maybe you haven't had those moments in a really long time, but I want you to think about that. When have you experienced a time where time is just easy? It's flowing. It's just going by. There's a sense of accomplishment. Time is passing quickly. You may have spent 4 hours doing something and it felt like 15 or a half hour or maybe an hour. You're just caught up in the moment. Can you think of a time where you've had that? All right, let's dig into a little bit of the research. A Hopkins neuroscientist studied jazz musicians, and he discovered when they performed, the area of their brain associated with self-doubt was actually deactivated. Isn't that super cool? Like, think about that. Like, when they were performing, the place in our brain that self-doubt appears was totally deactivated. And there's been numerous other studies that show the same thing. Flow makes you lose track of time, removes your inner critic, and contributes to some of the happiest experiences of your life. Isn't that cool, you guys? I want you to really grasp this, that there is things that you can do that will actually deactivate the self-doubt button in your brain. And you'll lose track of time. It will remove your inner critic. Who wants to remove that inner critic, right? And will contribute to joy, complete peace, and happiness in your life. This is what we're talking about. So core goals focus on how you want to feel. They focus on the journey, not the destination. Think about this. When you feel great by doing activities that you love, flow state is inevitable. It's absolutely, positively inevitable. All right? So the difference between outer and core goals is one's focused on a destination, the other one is focused on a journey. One is focused on pressure from the outside looking in, and the other one is based on how you want to feel in your life. Do you want to feel joy? Do you want to feel peace? Do you want to feel excitement? Do you want to feel adventure? Like, what is it that you want to feel in your life? And this is different for all of us, right? Peace, calm, maybe you want high energy, high impact. What is it that you want to feel? I've got some questions for you, and I want you to really think about these, and I'm going to encourage you really to spend some time journaling here, okay? So the first question is, do you feel pressure to achieve outer goals in order to be liked or admired? So let's think about this when it comes to your Rodan & Fields business. Do you feel pressure to be a certain title, to earn a certain milestone, to do certain things in order for people to like you or admire you? This is important, you guys, because there's one thing that I've learned through this Rodan & Fields journey is there is a thing called Rodan & Fields Famous. But Rodan & Fields Famous is really fleeting and it goes by really quick. And you have a quick moment, and if there's no more substance or core to it, you're going to be very deflated when it's all said and done. So do you feel pressure to achieve any type of outer goal related to your business that's tied to you being liked or admired? The next question, have you achieved an outer goal only to realize that it didn't make you as happy as you expected? I remember talking to Dacre about this quite a bit, throughout my entire career here. It's like, wow, you just think that there's these certain moments in this business that are the end all be all. And there's nothing wrong with the actual goal. What's wrong is where the focus is. Then you get there and you realize, well, nothing changed, Nothing changed because nothing changes. We do the same thing. I work the business the same way I worked the business when I started it, you guys. It's really a state of mind and a focus. The next question is, do you ever feel like, or did you feel like the finish line keeps moving on you? And then the last question is, if you could choose a core goal, a feeling that you want to experience every single day, what would it be? I want you to share some of those in the comments below this, you guys, and I don't want you to hold yourself back at all. I want this to be something that's true to you. So for example, as I started looking at this year, one of my goals this year is I want to feel Like I'm being a really good friend to the people in my network. And you may go, well, that's really weird. How does that relate to business? You guys, part of our business is meeting new friends and being good friends to people, because the more that we serve people around us, the more open they're going to be to what we have and to looking at what we've got going on. So if you could choose one core goal, maybe it's 3 core goals, a feeling that you want to experience every single day in 2019, what would it be? Is it peace because you have financial security? What is it, you guys? All right. Now you might be sitting here going, okay, this is crazy. Does this mean we give up success altogether? And you're just saying we're not going to do any of the hardcore stuff. We're getting really fluffy here. Not at all, you guys. I do not want that to be what you hear, because this is actually the exact opposite. We are definitely focused on success, definitely focused on moving the needle forward, definitely focused on you accomplishing and being everything that you were put here to be, but we're not focused on a destination, because you guys, in all reality, we don't ever stop living until we're not here anymore. Until we go home to be home, till we go home to be with Jesus, we have work to do. So, what I'm asking you to do is stop focusing on a place or a destination and start focusing on your actual journey. Absolutely, success is part of this. I want you guys to achieve your best year yet. I want you guys to achieve your biggest, wildest, craziest dreams possible. So, I don't want you to hear that I'm saying no substance. It's actually the exact opposite. And actually, when you look at these things, outer goals aren't bad. You can still choose some outer goals as long as they're in alignment with the life that you want to live and where you're ultimately headed. The goal here is not focusing on what you think people want you to do and really doing some soul searching and figuring out what makes sense for you in your life. By focusing more on core goals and your daily state of mind, you're more likely to create a satisfying life from the inside out rather than one that only looks good from the outside. Man, oh man, you guys, that social media place, where we are in today's world, with the appearance of things, the way that social media plays out, we have a lot of really unhappy, unsatisfied people. The suicide rate is higher than it's ever been before because people are lonely, they're sad, they're hiding behind social media. There's all kinds of crazy stuff going. And so, what I want to do here, you guys, on our team is really focus on your life. What are you put here to do? What this business will free you up to live your best possible life and really focus on your purpose. But if you get caught up in the outer stuff, you're going to be frustrated and it's not going to be fulfilling. So I want you to really hear this. By focusing on core goals more than outer goals and your daily state of mind, you are more likely to create a satisfying life from the inside out rather than one that only looks good from the outside. All right? So remember, if you could focus on 1 or 2 or maybe 3 core goals this year, a way that you want to feel this year, what would it be? What would it be? When I look at the beginning of this business, really for me, it was all about being able to be home with my daughter. And the reason behind that was I wanted to be a very active and present mom. But if I dig deeper on that, what I really want to do is be the best possible mom that I could be for her so that she can really be everything that she's supposed to be, which means I'm not rushed, which means I'm not pulled in a million different directions, which means I was present. And the feeling of that, there was a peacefulness to it. There was a joy to it. There was a content. So really ask yourself those things. Now, there was a component, there was an outer goal tied to that, which was 6 figures or higher to get me out of corporate. And you guys, so I'm going to show you how to pull those in. All right. But right now, today, we're not focused on the outer, we're really focused on the core. So I want you to do some reflection, really answer those questions, and think about what sets your soul on fire. Absolutely positively, what sets your soul on fire. All right, so now is some time for some reflecting. After each one of these lessons, there's going to be time exactly like this. What do you think time? I want you to leave a comment below. What's your biggest takeaway from the training today? And just really don't overthink this, you guys. I just want you guys to share aha moments. There's not a right or wrong answer. Remember, this is your journey. We're all at different places in the journey. But what I really, really, really want you to do is spend the time thinking, reflecting, and trying your darndest to push out what you think you should be doing as opposed to what you really want to be doing. Okay? So there's a lot of outside pressure when it comes to building a business. There could be pressure that you're taking on from a spouse, from friends, from something that you feel like you have to prove, from your line, from your downline, from sideline. I want you to really dig into and ask yourself some hard questions. Keep asking why. Keep asking why. Why does this feel important? Just like I did with the being home with my daughter. Why was that important? Because in all reality, my corporate people really thought I was crazy to want that. But I had to dig in and really understand what was the driving force behind it. And you guys, I'm still living that goal every single day because Charlotte's still at home and I'm still being able to be a very present mom. So do you see how that destination never ended? We're still working through it. Okay. All right. So this is part 1. I'll be back here again tomorrow with part 2. Don't forget about the workbook and the worksheets that are going to help you dig a little bit deeper, okay? All right, you guys, have a great day.